Welcome back, Michael Wickerson at Wickerson Studios. We are now entering the second tab of Grasshopper 2.0, which is by far my favorite tab to date. I have gone through and made scripts for the data, the text, and I'm eager to get into the vectors, curves, surfaces, not so much meshes, transforms, displays, and intersects, which are developing slowly but surely. So it still is in the alpha. I say we're, but I'm not working for McNeil's in any way, shape, or form. I just do this out of my own curiosity. And once again, if you want to support it and encourage me to have more time doing this stuff, just jump on my Patreon and throw me $1. I think that's the lowest setting I could set it. Anyway, so we'll jump in here and we'll take a look. I've got the documentation running. We've talked about all of the data, and hopefully I've covered everything through here on the utilities and inputs that things are familiar. So if you see a text tab up here, you know how to set things with a right click here and a left click here. And it starts very simple in the math tab, so without any explanation at all, drag in your addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. This is going to be a fast presentation to start. What happens after that is you've got the list addition, the mass addition, and mass multiplication. So the mass multiplication, I've just provided a list here. You can see the output over here, 2, 3, 4. It will do a list addition right here, and it will take 2 and add it to nothing, add 2 to 3 and you'll get 5, and add 2 to 3 to 4 and you'll get 9. The mass multiplication will multiply as a second. Actually, I think it goes into list addition. The mass multiplication is over here, which is 2 times 3 times 4, which is basically 4 factorial in reverse. And then list addition is very nice that it actually will add all the values in the list at one time. So that's a nice little node. So if you just click the documentation, keep getting into the habit of that and see if there's any tricks or tips in there. Once again, we're using the panel tool, which I covered before. You can take your columns off if you don't want to see it this way. And if you keep your eye on the paths, they'll get more complicated, and the indices, which will slowly build into sites as we enter the data set and start dealing with some incredible information about metas and lists and sites and paths, which will extend into trees. So nothing, shouldn't be too scary as you get going, but I'll show you an error right now, and I probably need to update the alpha Grasshopper 2.0. Absolute will take a value and simply make it absolute, so it's a nice thing to throw sine or cosine through as a function. Exponent's not working. I can't take a value and raise that value to this exponent and get the power. Maybe, hang on a second, value b, and then raise the value to a power, and it's not working. Got simple factorial, so I could grab any one of those number sliders that I had before. I'm going to grab a quick little param and just show you how I'm still working number sliders without typing them in, but maybe I should double click and just hit 4 and see if I can get a 4 number slider that's an integer value. So very fast little script. Let's grab that factorial, and we'll just throw this up into this panel and borrow that for a second. And there you go. You've got 4 factorial. You get 7 factorial, which is nice. And it has a little divisor in here, dividing by 1, which is really nice. You can start to divide by other factorials. That's actually awesome. So let's take a look at the documentation. Divide by set to 1 to ignore. So that's kind of nice. I didn't think about that, but that's going to get into probabilities and really nice things. So I'm going to throw this back into here. I'm going to use my shift key for those that are new and throw in my integers, and it kind of goes in its position. It doesn't matter on the, you'll notice that it kind of picks and chooses what's the order of what you'd end up doing. Anyway, factorial is working. That's good, but I'm having trouble with the exponent and quotient. Really a pain in the butt. Like, why can't I grab 7 and raise it to 0.5 as an exponent and get an answer? And it's just not working for me. So click here for more details and possible actions. The method of operation is not implemented. Weird. Maybe they just haven't done it yet. And that's why they've set, maybe I set it going in here, they've set a little exclamation mark to say it's not ready yet as a marker. So it's on there officially, so they're still working on that. I don't know why, but I'm going to put a little red thing there so I remember that it's still got a problem as to what's happening. Cross product's awesome. Why bother with dot product when you've got the cross product of 2 vectors? Bring in 2 vectors because it gives you the dot product. So if you want a heavier component, which isn't too much heavier, I guess maybe you just want the dot product without the cross product. You could use that, and you get the magnitude on the cross product as well, which is nice. Yeah. cross product. Oh, wait a second. I thought it was giving me that. That's the dot product. I thought it was giving me the dot product. No, it's giving me the cross product. Ignore what I just said. These are things that are so simple to begin with that I'm kind of like not doing the plugins because I figure this is for computationally. People that weren't computationally satisfied enough with Grasshopper 1.0, they want to get in and get computationally mad with Grasshopper 2.0. So it's a little later. I'm back in the laundry room. I can make a little noise. My kids got a snow day today, so we'll throw them outside in the snow and see what happens. Quality's nice, but look at this quality similarity. So you can have your value A and your value B, and you can have your discrete threshold, and then you can have the relative threshold. So that's really nice. Let's take a look and see if there's any additional documentation. And it's not that extensive, but it certainly has a little bit that you might want to read and auto-generate. So I might use number similarity, and the reason I would use that is on angles when I'm trying to prove Euclidean geometries. The computer's not going to be totally ideally accurate, so it's going to show that things aren't similar as triangles when they really are. And for some reason, my computer is not charging. That's weird. Hang on a second. A little power. We might go dead in a minute. I hope I'm charging. 8% available, plugged in. Good. And now back over to rounding decimals, very simple function. Grab yourself a value. It's got pi installed, so I'll just show an example of this probably won't do it because it'll stay ideal, but let's go back into input and show you an example of constant picker. And we can use pi as the constant picker. Let's put it in, and then let's round that decimal to, once again, and I've got this, I'm starting to get in the habit of using the number slider fast tracks, and there's pi rounded to 3 decimal places. Grab yourselves a little panel tool, plug it in there, and there you go. Well, with any luck, rounding error to 3 decimal places. I think because pi, well, that's weird that it's not doing that as well. Let me grab a params. I don't know, there's some functionality here in the math node that obviously the alpha version, I've got 5 rounded to 3 decimal places. Let's round it to 1, and I'm not getting my output, which is weird because this is basically telling me grab a value and number of decimals to round to. So I'm going to put a little flag there too. I'm having a little bit of trouble with my nodes in the math nodes, and I'm not sure why the simplest ones aren't running. So still a little bit of play, and that's a reason why people aren't trusting Grasshopper 2.0 yet, but may as well get into it. I've got a function editor here. I'm not sure why I put it in there. I'm going to get rid of it. I might have been using it as we go farther in. So let me just go back and reinstall it, but it's not coming in. The function editor is actually in the math tabs, and it's 2 of these that take text, and I'm actually loving it. So expand expression, no, that's not what I was doing. Let me go back into here. Function editor, maybe that's what it was. Just a function editor. I'll leave it there because I might have been using it as the second section. But that's a nice little intro to operators. We're going to go into functions, and this is where it gets absolutely fantastic. And I know why I brought it up, because the function editor, if you bring it in and you right click here or left click here, you can actually go in and start to edit all of these wonderful functions and operators, which looks tremendously similar to what's happening. Hang on, where's my grass? I'm clicking the wrong ones. Underscore G2, just as a reminder, get your Grasshopper running. I want to close this function out. This looks incredibly on the inside similar to the function tab in the maths. And we're going to go through all of those things as well, and we're going to take a look and give honor and respect to things like I think they have a plugin Mathematica and things I was playing with in Dominion. I'm trying to give me and Daniel Christov a little bit of credit. But I'll do this in another minute, keep this video short, and get people started because things start to snowball now for the computational designer really wanting to drive their geometries by beautiful mathematics, statistics, randoms, trigonometry, and even special complex numbers and scripts. And this is the one that you get to play with ChatGPT and bring over some components and Python nodes from Grasshopper 1.0. You do not want to miss out on this. Thanks again for watching. Support on Patreon as low as you want to go, and I'll talk to you soon.